Let's try this again. Good afternoon, everybody. John here at Havokmaker Studio and FMP Wargamers. This is going to be a great day. I have tried to do this video and over the past 2 days 8 times, maybe 9 times. No, 8 times. And boy, is it getting ridiculous. Keep getting so many interruptions. And if you're not familiar, in 12 and a half days, I am moving. So a lot of working stuff here. But don't worry, I'm still going to be putting out videos for the channel. And before I close down the studio, before I move and reset the studio back up in April, I'm going to get the giveaway, the next giveaway set up. So during that moving and readjusting period that I'm going to be in, I will have that active. Now, before I give out all the details, which should be later this week or beginning of next week, one surefire way to get a guaranteed entry into this giveaway and all future giveaways, just like all of my past giveaways, is by being a subscriber to the channel. And I know you guys get tired of YouTubers saying, oh, please subscribe to the channel, hit that red button, make sure you get the notification bell. It does help us. Because we actually, the more we get, I'm not there yet, but the more we get, the more sponsor money we get, the more influence we get from YouTube, the more visibility that we get and everything like that. Plus, that shows that we have more people watching our channel, which means I can take my own money and invest it in giveaways, or as some stores give me product like Atomic Hobby Shop in Cypress, Texas, and right now the fine folks over at Board and Brew Games in Humble give me product. I can highlight their stores and of course give it away. So take that 2 or 3 minutes, guys and gals, to go ahead and create a YouTube account if you don't already have one. I know it sucks, but you can turn off all their notifications and all that kind of stuff so you don't get hammered with anything, which I don't think you do. And then hit the subscribe button, leave a thumbs up on this video or others, and then leave a comment, especially if you like the content, or really if you don't like the content. Let me know. Let me know what about the content you don't like and what content you would like to see in the future. All right. So let's get into today's news, their updates, and rumors. So first up, let's talk about Shadowland Daredevil and Elektra. All right. If you guys haven't noticed, there are 3 team tactic cards versus the 10 team tactic cards that we get with the Nick Fury Jr. and Shield Agents box. I think the reason why there's so many 10 cards over there versus 3 here is because mainly it's because there's an extra character in the Daredevil box, which is Shadowland Daredevil, Elektra, and the Hand versus the other 2 that are in the other box. So that's equivalent to a character is about the equivalent appears to be 7 team tactic cards, and that might be financial, that might be just an enticement, it could just be a one-off, this could be just a very unique situation, or it could be the standard going forward for these rare instances. So it's something we're just going to monitor for analytics and such for the future. I don't think it's going to be happening on a regular basis. I think this is just a rare moment. But when we get these characters popping up more and more in the future with grunts, I think we'll see something like this happening again. So just be aware of that. All right, now let's talk about these cards. I'm going to first start with the one that's going to require a little bit extra analysis that I normally don't do, but there's some great combos here that I think you guys are going to really like. The first one up is Shuriken Arashi. It is an unaffiliated card. It is an active card. Now you do have to have Shadowland Daredevil to use this card. He can spend 2 power to play this card, mind you. Now, if there is an allied hand ninjas character within range 2 of him, he can use this attack, this card, and we'll get to all the details of the attack here in just a second. All the range, cover, line of sight, everything involved with measuring comes from the hand ninjas and not Shadowland Daredevil, so keep that in mind. Now, the Shuriken Arashi attack is a range 3. It is 10 dice. It will not cause the cost the hand ninjas any power. It's 0 power, though you are giving up to a Daredevil's power to pull this off. But still, it doesn't cost them anything. Now, there's 2 caveats to this attack. So 10 dice. Remember that. 10 dice. That's a lot, guys. That's a lot. Now, before creating the dice pool for this attack, the target character may advance S, or short. That's the hand ninja, so they can move short. Then, if the target character is benefiting from cover from this attack rolls 5 fewer attack dice. So make sure your target is not behind cover, which should be fairly easy. And cover does not come into a lot of games from what I've witnessed or participated in. Now, the second part of this attack, this 10 dice attack, is after the attack is resolved, remove all allied hand ninjas from the battlefield. So pull them off. All right. Now, that doesn't sound all that great, but let's take a look at a couple things. So first, obviously you're going to need to activate Shadowland Daredevil. And if you don't have your ninjas, now this could be a great combo here, so follow me on this. If you don't have the ninjas already out, all right, then what you do is go ahead and activate Shadowland Daredevil if you're able to. Do the coordinated strike, right? Let's talk ideally that you don't have to do a movement or anything, but if you do, we can add that in. But let's say you pop off your coordinated strike, a range 2, 5 dice attack at 0 cost. You're going to get your power for any damage dealt. Pretty cool. And then after the attack is resolved, the hand ninjas appear within range 1 of Shadowland Daredevil if they're not already in play, right? So let's assume that they're not in play. So you do coordinated strike, do your attack, might get some damage, might not. We're not talking about that, but potentially you'll get some damage. Hand ninjas appear within range 1, right? So pretty cool. And so now they're a little bit closer, potentially, and they're activated. Now, first up, hand ninjas, right? Hand ninjas, when they arrive, they're placed on a battlefield. As a result of coordinated strike, they can immediately make an attack, which is range 2, 4 dice, and if you get double wild symbols, you can inflict bleed. But let's just go with the 4 dice. So 5 dice attack from coordinated strike, 4 dice from the hand ninjas, and then you have the option, right? You have the option to do something, say like Demon's Devastation, which is a 3 power attack. If an allied hand ninja's character is within range 2 of the target character, add 2 dice to the attack roll. Well, we know that hand ninjas are now in range 1, right? Great. Add 2 dice to the attack roll. So now it's a 9 dice attack. Cool. So now you've gone from 5 dice to 4 dice to 9 dice. And then if you get a wild symbol, then Shadowland Daredevil can now move within range 2. Okay, or place this character within range 2. Okay, that's cool. That's nice little movement. Or you just come back here to the Shuriken Arashi, right? And then pop this attack off. Get your free short range movement after you got that 1 range movement from being placed. So now you're getting some more movement, and pop this attack off. Do your 10 dice. Pop smoke. Hand ninjas disappear. And you still have another action for Shadowland Daredevil. If you haven't used your other one, then pull out the coordinated strike again, because you're obviously within range. Hand ninjas pop up again, so you already did a second coordinated strike for 5 dice. Then your hand ninjas pop up again for another 4 dice. Now that could be a sequence of events that I'm not catching there, but right now this could get FAQ'd or errata for clarity. But right now that's 5 dice, 4 dice, 10 dice, 5 dice, 4 dice, all off of 2 activations. That's a lot of series of attacks. And yes, that's going to be a very drawn out attack sequence, but that potential is very devastating, right? Now, it all comes down to the luck of the dice, but the more dice you throw, the greater chance you're going to succeed, right? And also, this also means the greater chance that your opponent will fail. All right, let's move on to the other one. I think is going to be we're going to see a lot of play It is a cruel tutelage. It is a criminal syndicate card. It is active. Now, the criminal syndicate character can spend 1 power to play this card. The next attack that they do will get 3 dice. Now, you're going to roll those separately, because if on those 3 attack dice, if you get a critical failure, which is the skull symbol, you are going to get the stagger special condition at the end of the activation, not right there and then, but at the end. So I think it's worth it for that 1 power, because usually we're looking at 2 to 3 power spent to get up to 3 dice worth of bonus dice. So I think the payoff is worth it. 1 power for 3 extra dice. I think that's worth that 12, 13, 14-ish% chance that you're going to get at least one of the skull symbols. I think it's worth it. All right, so let's move on to No Mercy. Is another, I think, a really good card we're going to see in action. It's Criminal Syndicate. It's reactive. When an allied character would daze an enemy character, the allied character can play this card. You gain 3 power. There's a lot of special abilities out there, special attacks that require power. Just like we saw with, what's it called? There we go, Demon's Devastation. It costs 3 power. And there's a lot of characters out there that require power for their defensive abilities or for their other abilities. So to be able to recoup that extra power off of an attack that doesn't generate power for you, I mean, that's a guaranteed 3 power, no matter what. I think it's worth it. Now, mind you, that's very situational. You got to daze, but let's face it, in this game, you're going to daze probably about 3 characters per game, 2 to 3 characters per game. That seems to be the average I've seen played and experienced firsthand. So far, I would say this is a really good set of team tactic cards. Yeah, it's all situational, but what team tactic cards aren't situational, right? That's the reason why they're there. They're for weird situations that are set up or that you've set up, have just happened, that sort of thing. So these are pretty much on par with other ones. I think it's a good combination, especially if you plan on running Shadowland Daredevil and Elektra. Speaking of these characters, so Nick Fury Jr., Shield Agent, Shadowland Daredevil, Elektra, and the Quinjet. We've had varying dates from retailers, from online sources that I've covered here, from Asmodee, from Atomic Mass Games. They've been all over the place. And I've, of course, been critical about it, but that's what we're here for. We're reporting the news and we're analyzing and giving our opinions on it. So the latest date, right? The latest confirmed-ish date from a very super reliable source who has been right almost every time in the past. Like, I'm talking, we're at about 90%, I guess, win-loss ratio, if you want, right or wrong ratio, that they've been right every time, or most of the time, I should say. I think a 90 is accurate, because I think out of only one, I think there's only one, and I think it was this one in particular. They said they were looking at March 22nd. Now it looks like it's going to be April 22nd for the release. So that means stores should be able to pre-order sometime in the beginning of April for the Shadowland Daredevil, Nick Fury, and the Quinjet for the April 22nd release. Now I'm looking over here at April 22nd, and April 22nd is a Friday, which is in line with everybody else or all their other releases. And Asmodee has already said that their release schedule was by April 30th, which is really weird since it's a Saturday. So I am 90%. I would say 99%. That way I still got a little bit of wiggle room in case I'm wrong about that source. That April 22nd is the release date for Shadowland Daredevil, Nick Fury Jr., the Quinjet, and all the things going on there. Now we're still waiting for to hear about the card release, like the physical cards of all the updated characters. Is still saying Q2/Q3. No updates there, but as soon as I hear about it, of course, we're going to report on it. So let's move on to we talked about last week the mini extravaganza, which is coming in June. And I double checked with Adepticon. Right now, the only thing that's going to be going on at Adepticon officially for Atomic Mass Games is the Star Wars Open, which is the for X-Wing, I believe. Let's double check here. Star Wars World Open. Yes, for Star Wars X-Wing, which, if you're not familiar, Asmodee basically took the Star Wars IP, at least for the tabletop miniatures, away from Fantasy Flight Games and handed it off to Atomic Mass Games, which actually brought a couple of their staff on board and then divided their staff, or split some of their staff up to help them out, which is good because those games, yes, they might be popular regionally, but largely are floundering. And that's mainly because, if you're not familiar, Fantasy Flight Games mishandles games on the regular. It is, it's like little old ladies that drink their Metamucil on the daily so they can, clean their system. That's Fantasy Flight Games. They are routinely messing up amazing IPs. Okay, whether you like them or not, that's neither here nor there. Those are just facts, right? Now, the fact that they brought some of their smart people over, their good people over, and they're working with Atomic Mass Games to clean up the rules, get better with the releases and all that stuff is absolutely great. Not a big fan of the games myself, Star Wars Legion, Armada, or X-Wing. Legion I'm kind of eyeballing, but that's neither here nor there. At any rate, Atomic Mass Games is not going to be having a booth as far as we can see from all the information available about Adepticon, nor are they going to be having any sort of preview show or anything there. Like, their official presence is next to none. Yes, there's a painting contest, but that's being hosted by Adepticon. That's not Atomic Mass Games. And that's for terrain for Star Wars or the Marvel Crisis Protocol. And there are Marvel Crisis Protocol games, but once again, those are being hosted by volunteers for Adepticon, not Atomic Mass Games, just like any type of gaming convention. It's like, hey, who's going to be running what? Okay, great. Get us your information. We'll set up tickets and all that kind of stuff. So why is that significant? Well, usually about this time, every year we get Gamma, which is I can't think of the name of it. Basically, it's just the gaming industry's big show, like the SHOT Show for guns and such. And for Gamma and Adepticon, this time of year is a big reveal for basically the rest of the year's products, or at least the next 6 months, let's just say a year. This is what we got coming out this year. This is what we're excited about. These are the big changes we're doing with our company. It's just basically a chance for them to show off. And as of right now, Atomic Mass Games has nothing going out there for Adepticon or Gamma. Now, that's them officially. Fantasy Flight Games does, Asmodee does, but Atomic Mass Games does not, which is really an odd thing. And then we have the mini extravaganza, which is dropping in June. So we've got basically a two and a half month gap of no releases for any of the Star Wars IP or for Atomic Mass Games, which is an very odd thing. Normally by now we'd be seeing some little wisps or hints or leaks, sweeps, radar sweeps, whatever. We'd be having that right now, but we're not. We don't have any of that. Now, mind you, Atomic Mass Games doing a good job of revealing stuff, painting videos, and we've been very well taken care of. Great sign of a healthy game system and company. We've had the privilege of being able to get all this stuff on a regular basis, but it's almost like we're quitting cold turkey, and now we have nothing to look forward to for 2 months. It's just an odd situation. I don't think it's an alarming. I don't think people need to panic. I don't think it's a sign of, hey, the game's going down. It's crashing. We're just not moving enough units. No, there's nothing like that. In fact, Asmodee is, I think, very happy with Atomic Mass Games, and how they've handled Marvel Crisis Protocol and Star Wars, because there is a nice upswing for those games, especially as other larger tabletop miniature games start to wane a little bit. Then that's when these smaller skirmish games really start to flourish. And right now, there's so many games out there that are tabletop miniature games. It's right now is the time to really push that, really to push when you start seeing game systems and larger companies start to wane or lose some of that major staying power that they have. It's time to wiggle your way in and kind of leech off some of those customers. I mean, that's what game companies do. They just take them away because bigger companies usually have some disgruntled players. So they're like, hey, we've got cookies and shiny models. And people are like, well, hell, I like cookies and shiny models. I've got a whole closet full of unpainted, unbuilt shiny models. So let's go ahead and go over here and just add to the stack. And so I think that's, it's concerning that we're not seeing anything, guys and gals, but I don't think it's enough for us to be alarmed, but it's enough that we could jump on, say, their Facebook, their Twitter, and their Instagram and say, hey guys, where's the previews or what's coming up next for Star Wars, Armada, or X-Wing, or Legion, or Marvel Crisis Protocol? Because we're not seeing anything. And we would like at least an idea as consumers, as the people that basically are paying you because we're buying your product, could you maybe reveal something instead of waiting another 2 months? Just something. I'm not trying to say, let's start a grassroots campaign here, but let's start a grassroots campaign to get them to start talking. Anyways, let's move on. The last thing I want to talk about is Runes of Somborum. I've talked about this in a video about almost a year ago, 11, 12 months ago. This is a game from Free League Publishing over in Sweden. Fantastic game. If you like Dark Souls or Elden Ring, and you kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, I would recommend Somborum. So there's two different versions. There's Somborum, the original game, which I think is absolutely, hands down, probably one of the best dark fantasy, low magic settings out there. I mean, it is very lethal towards players. You got to be a lot smarter than, say, playing Pathfinder, where you just start stacking benefits and all that kind of stuff. It's like, well, I got plus 20 to hit, and then I get another plus 32 because my eyes are green, and then it's the right time of the year, so I get another plus 16. That gives me a plus 1,000 to hit AC 268,000. I'm exaggerating a little bit here, but those numbers are not that far off if you've played Pathfinder. Even Dungeons and Dragons, to some extent, has large calculations to some extent. Not quite Pathfinder or some other games. They actually scale it down by, I would say, by like 80%, 75%. It's way different numbers, but still. The Somborum game, their dice system is a lot cleaner, a lot faster to use, especially as you as the GM. You don't have to do a whole lot of dice rolling. Actually, there's a way that's built into the game, and I've covered this before, and I'll cover it again here soon with an upcoming video, where you don't even have to roll any dice. The system actually has it's actually built into where you don't have to roll dice, Mr. GM or Mrs. GM, but you're welcome to if you want. All right, but it's built in to where you don't have to, and it'll make sense once you read it. Now, Free League teamed up with Wizards of the Coast, said, hey, we want to do a 5e conversion, and since they've got everything, they started this last year. They've got everything except for the mechanics. They had already been working on mechanics, and they created the 5e system. Now, I reviewed the alpha of the player's handbook, and I'm actually waiting for my email for the rest of the information for the actual release stuff. It's actually going to be released later this month, going into or next month. The official release. They turned it around within a year. It was really great, and they had a very super successful. Let me just say, very super successful Kickstarter. They aimed for $20,000 approximately. Is about $23,000. They got, now mind you, this is in their, I forget what SEC. I'm not sure what their their currency is called. But they ended up they went from needing 20,000 ish. They got 490,000. Huge success, especially with a 5e conversion. And over 4,000 backers, really successful in the realm of RPG, especially 5e Kickstarters. So this is a very great game, and I'm going to be doing I'm only bringing this up because the product is about to drop for the 5e conversion for you 5e fans, and I'm going to be doing a video here soon, hopefully this week, possibly next week, for the 5e catch up, because I've been playing twice a month on Discord in a Discord group for the alpha / beta test. And I want to give our impressions and show off a whole bunch of stuff that I can show off now that the product is on its way out. All right, the last thing I want to talk about, and then we'll wrap this up, is in regards to the Black Knight and Eternals rumor that I did a video on last week. I've gotten some messages from you guys, which I super appreciate. Thank you so much. Emails and Facebook messages. Great. Super awesome. Keep it up. Please, though, go ahead and put it in the comments so other people could see it, because then they could springboard off if they might be able to answer or provide extra insight, or they might have extra questions based off your question, and I would love to answer them. But let me at least say, when I do a rumor video, guys, and I say it's a rumor, that means it's a rumor. I just want to be very clear, and I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm not laughing at you or anything like that, but it was a rumor video based off of information from a very reliable source. But even they said it was a rumor, or they said to treat it with a grain of salt, but it was a rumor. It wasn't factual. I wasn't trying to say, hey, this is coming. It was a rumor. So please remember that. Just totally a rumor. Now, if it's factual, I will definitely say it's factual. And if you guys have information out there and you want to share it, but you want to keep it super secret on where it came from and all that stuff, go ahead and contact me via email. It's somewhere down in the description or on my link. Or via Facebook Messenger, or even just in the comments, say, hey, contact me, so-and-so. Whatever it is that you guys got to do, we'll work out on how to keep it confidential. I won't reveal your information like I haven't revealed anybody else's information. We'll keep it totally secret. I won't share it out. Whether it's about Atomic Mass Games, Games Workshop, Dungeons & Dragons 5e, it doesn't matter. Just go ahead and hook me up with it. All right. Anyways, you guys have yourself a wonderful, Tuesday afternoon, and I'll talk to you later on this week. See you guys.